Okay, so you're from Nepal and you're working on business and for how many years now?
Yeah, it's going to be 3 years in the coming January
Nice,
2026.
nice.
Yeah.
Good amount of projects in Nepal, or you work for majorly your projects are outside India?
Currently, I'm working in the. Actually, I live here in Gurgaon, Haryana.
Oh, nice, great.
Yeah.
So then
Yes.
it's a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, Rishikesh is here. I guess he has some noise in the home, so that's why he's muted. But Rishikesh, I guess Samuel said something around custom API, so maybe we'll talk about it today, just to see it out.
O- Okay, okay, fine, fine, fine.
I guess, yeah, Samuel pinged me, let's say 10, 15 minutes ago, I guess, something like that. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's set it up. So, Samuel, what I've done already, and let
So,
me add. Yes, sir.
so yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, actually, I wanted to understand this UCI, Universal Code Initiative, something.
Okay,
So, yeah,
we'll quickly
so
talk
if
about it.
you
That's
have
not a problem.
prepared any video or something, or if we can discuss next session.
Oh, so there's nothing much to discuss about it. As in, if you want to talk about it, why not? But
Hmm.
in summary, it is that mm, uh, typically in Business Central, you are not allowed to write a code uh,
Mm-hmm.
which works only on cloud or on-prem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole
Mm-hmm.
concept of Universal Code Initiative is that as a partner, you should not be writing any code which only works on on-prem.
Okay.
Okay. Now, even if your
Okay.
customer is on-prem, let's say for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Initially, you had an option to go into your app.json and say that my target is on-prem, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the initial
Mm-hmm.
versions of Nav or Business Central, to be fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could say on-prem, and then it was something which allowed you to do what we call that .NET components and things like that,
Mm, mm,
right?
mm, mm.
But
Yes.
later on, it was found that most of the partners, and I can be completely wrong here, but most of the partners were misusing this property more or less,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what Microsoft did is they introduced this new policy of called Universal Code Initiative, which
Mm-hmm.
forces every partner to make sure that they don't write any code which is on-prem, only on-prem compatible.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Now, if you do
Okay.
that,
Mm-hmm.
now when it was launched, and here is a video where I guess few years ago we talked about it. So if this
Mm.
does not give you context, just let me know. Send me a ping, and we'll talk about it next week. It's a pretty simple concept, more or less.
Okay, okay.
All right.
No problem. Let me find out something on Microsoft Learn or somewhere.
No, so just watch this
And
video. This should answer most of your questions. I guess this was specifically around Universal Code Initiative questions. This was recorded in
okay.
2022. I put the link in the chat,
Oh,
right? So you can
okay.
watch that later. But the whole idea
Mm.
is that if you today try to do this, even if your
Mm.
customer is on prem, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will be charged a fee, which is an incremental fee, which grows every year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the customer pays for it. They'll have to buy two additional module, one
Mm-hmm.
additional module. Now it depends what kind of customization you have. So some partners, which I can't even think who those are, but it I heard that there are some partners who are even modifying the base app still today.
Oh. Oh.
So if you are
Oh.
modifying that, then there is a separate module that you have to purchase. If you are modifying
Mm.
Microsoft applications and making their own, and then there is another module that is for if your custom PTE is non-universal compliant, which
Mm-hmm.
typically means if target is set to on-prem, to from a developer perspective. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then customer need to pay per user per year a fees, which increments every year. And I guess I should have a blog somewhere about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if needed, if you know whatever you find, if you don't get more details about it, just let me know. I'll be happy to talk about it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right? So yeah, just look at it, and otherwise ping me. I'll be happy to kind of go through it if needed. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple. As in, that's the reason I guess I haven't talked about it a lot. But if you think that it's very important for you, or you would like to get some insights around what the pricing look like, how you kind of how Microsoft identifies it, I can go through that even with an example.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
okay. Thank you.
not a problem. Okay, Sahib, how are you, man?
I'm good. What's about you, Saurav?
Good, man. Sorry, man, I'm super busy these weeks because of the work. I have some projects going live in this month, and I did saw your chat, but then it's so much back and forth with the customers right now because of the go lives that I was not able to kind of reply to you. Did you figure
No
out
problem
the
at all.
solution for it?
Yeah, yeah, I figured out that solution and
Nice,
resolved out that.
great.
So what's today session
Uh,
about?
so
APIs?
yeah, so Samuel, who's in the chat in the call, pinged me, let's say 20 minutes ago, and said, "Can we talk about custom APIs? There's some problem that he's facing, so maybe we'll talk about that."
Okay, okay, okay.
Hey, Govind, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
Okay.
And how are you? I already heard you're fine and you had lots of projects. Yeah, that's good, sir.
That
Yeah,
I'm still, I have a big appetite, so I can still digest more projects. If there are some, send it my way.
yeah, that's good. And I think all of us should be like, right? And me personally, as well, bit busy with some personal things. So I'm also unable to join lots of things and see the things. So that's why I'm just only focusing on the job and the personal things in the family. So right now,
That makes sense.
that's all.
All right. Nice. Okay, Samuel, would you like to explain us your problem? Is it actually custom API, or are we talking about standard API? I was not sure.
So I'm just creating this custom API.
Custom
So
API.
while giving response with intent, I just give the plain text and just post and response. And from the client side, they need to pass the JSON. So they were just uh, saying that can you just send the plan just pure neat and clean JSON structure so that all the searching and here and there. So I just
You're a
keep
little
on.
far from your mic. It seems I'm not able to hear you correctly. So I
So
heard that
just
it's a custom API. You need a JSON. It's giving you plain text, right? So should we try building one?
yourself, yeah.
Okay. So what I've already done, and people who have been in these meetings in the past would understand that I've already have a BC cloud environment at this moment, and then additionally I have set my intra application. Okay, Microsoft intra application, which is I've created BCOpenDiscussion, which is attached to one of my app registration on my portal, which is used for OAuth authentication. And then just before we started the meeting, I have also connected it to Postman. So now I am able to kind of get, let's say, all the APIs that are associated with this environment. Now, this is kind of a pretext which you can watch on videos how you do that, or there are a lot of articles about it how you set it up. So I don't think that will be a problem till this point. I guess let's dive in directly into building a custom API and see how it works and does it fail or not. So Samuel, we would like to be as close as we can. We as this meeting is being recorded, I don't want you to share your exact details more or less, right? That's your project related. But let's take a similar entity. Should we take a customer entity? What kind of entity should we take? Just to keep it simple.
So anything,
Okay.
just a customer.
Sounds fair. So let's start creating a page directly. And I guess in the AZAL extension, there is a separate option to create, no, not a separate option, but then there is an option to say that I'm doing an API. Okay. So let's say the standard customer API endpoint does not provide me what I want. Now, people who have worked on APIs will very clearly understand that we don't have rights to modify or extend APIs that come from Microsoft because that's how they are built. You cannot add or modify the standard API because that is said to be non-extensible. There are reasons behind it. Anybody who would like to talk about it, just let me know. We'll surely do it someday. But let's assume that the standard API for customer does not provide me what I want. So I'm going to create a custom API for it, where I define my table, I define my page name, API, and then the publisher is what your company is typically. What is your publisher code? I prefer to use whatever I have registered with Microsoft as publisher. So let's say I use this, our company name, and then group. That kind of groups all your API endpoints. Then the version that you would like to maintain. It's easier to keep it in sync with Microsoft. Nothing major changes, but that's how it is. Entity name, let's say customers, and one of them is a plural, right? I always get confused which one is okay. And all these parameters are very important because they kind of make your endpoint. So it's very important that you define these, and then once you define these, you cannot change them once they are operational, more or less. As in developer, as in the code will allow you to change all these, but you need to remember that once it is operational, your all integration are happening because of these parameters. So this section is something that you will not be able to modify if the customer starts using it, because they impact your API endpoint. So think about it. If you are new to the company, talk to your seniors. Make sure that you follow whatever is your company is following for at least these parameters till here. Because once they are defined, you will be able to change it from a developer perspective. But if the customer starts using it and you change these parameters, their API endpoint changes, and that breaks their connection. So I would prefer not to be changed then. Now, at any given point of time, it seems confusing. Stop me there. I'm going a little bit faster because I know we have talked about most of these things. System ID is the first field that I'll take. People know that it's a pseudo primary key. So it creates a unique key for each table that's created in Business Central, and automatically a system ID key is unique key is added in your SQL Server for that table. It helps in API interaction because customer, let's say I have a very simple primary key, which is number, but when you go into complex tables or complex objects like journals, sales line, then your primary key becomes a little bit bigger, which is, let's say, sales line, document type, document number, and line number. And it gets hard to kind of identify which record you would like to modify. And that's the reason why system ID is there. So each record in your table, in your database, gets a unique ID as that get created. So you can use system ID as a pseudo primary key. And that's why this is the kind of the main field that you should be using whenever you are doing interaction with your API. Okay, and guys, if you see someone coming in, just add them because I'm kind of doing things here. Okay, so we took this, and let me take some fields here. Number, name, anything else that seems important? Okay, I guess let's leave with this. Samuel, at any given point of time, you think I need to add something more? Just let me know. That's not a problem. Let's do
Sure,
email. So I've just added 3 field, and then the system ID will kind of act as my primary key, more or less. And then if you want to use this as a unique identifier for this page, then a property that does not populate automatically, which is OData key fields. And here you define what field will be used to uniquely identify your records. You can have multiple fields, like if you're using sales line and you would like to have document type, document number, and things, then you can define that key field here, which is a list of field used to kind of find that. Right. So we have defined the API group, API publisher, version, application area, which makes it accessible. Delayed insert true. APIs are supposed to kind of not insert instantly. So it's kind of once it is completed on the end, then you insert it. Let's see what other properties are there, if there are any. Editable, if it is a read only, you don't want people to insert record, then you can set it up. What else? You can link like any other page. You can say, is it modified allowed or not, right? And then here there is one important property which we should be talking about, which is data access intent. Now, as APIs are becoming popular, and they should be, you need to remember from a performance perspective what kind of API you are building. So the intent of the API is just to send data to the caller function, and no inserts are happening. Then you need to make sure that you set the data access intent to read only. So when you read the documentation around data access intent, what Microsoft does is that there is a hot copy of your database, which is within the Microsoft server, which is more or less a true copy of your production environment. When you make a read-only intent of your API endpoint, then rather than going to the production, it goes to that hot copy of your production and gives you a faster output, because it's set that it's not going to, write something. It is just for reading purposes. So when you look into Power BI packs that Microsoft have as of today, all the APIs that they have built, either it's a query API or a page API, they all are set to data access intent as read only. So it automatically gives you a better performance, because whenever that call comes in, your server knows that it is not to modify any record. So I can kind of shift that request to the hard copy rather than sending it to my production environment. So if you kind of get to that route, make sure that you use it. In this scenario, we'll not be using it, hopefully. Okay, now Samuel, help us. So you said bound action.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, that is causing problem, right? So for people who don't know it, let me try to pop in the standard Microsoft APIs so that we can see that what a bound action is. We did talk about it, I guess, somewhere in the past, but let's quickly have a look if I have it extracted somewhere. Okay, let me open that and show it to you guys. Okay, here it is. On your product DVD, you can always get access to API v1 or v2, whatever you are referring. Bounded action, consider them as actions on your page, but then the bounded action means that it is related to a particular record. And then there is another one which is called as unbounded action, which is not associated with the record, just like a action which is not doing anything on the record that you have opened. So that's the only difference between a bounded and a non-bounded action. So these API come with bounded action. So like when you access Microsoft sales order, right, there is a bounded action to post that sales order. So what it does, it let you find that sales order using API, and then it also let you post that sales order if needed. So they kind of make your interaction more useful with the APIs by using these bounded action. I always refer to Microsoft code, makes it simpler, and I don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel and think about it. But I can just open the source code and say, okay, I would like to see what a bounded action looks like, and I need to know where a bounded action is. So I can just go in, and I'm pretty sure it's on the sales order entity. For some reason, my screen is lagging a little bit. Okay. So when I look into my, let's have a look. It's also on the purchase, so that should not be a problem. But
We can see purchase orders or sales orders.
yeah, so let's look at the sales order one. Okay, sorry. Sales order line, where is the sales order one? It's so slow today, I don't know what. I was doing something, so that might have slowed it down. But these actions, as I was telling you earlier, that you are not allowed to modify anything. So you can have a look here that this is extensible set to false. So you're not allowed to extend these pages. And here at the end, I guess you'll find, I guess these are called, they are called bounded action. There's a tag for it, right? Yes, service enabled. So this gives you a action which is ship an invoice from API, and then using this call with a record you can actually post a sales order or sales order, and it'll ship an invoice. That now here is the code how it does that, and then it kind of sets what the response look like, so it gives you that text around it. Okay, so Samuel, help us what kind of bounded action we need, and I'll just kind of add that. I'll just copy this more or less and then build around it, whatever you say. So what kind of bounded action makes sense here to you? Samuel, we are waiting for you.
Hello.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yes, sir. Basically, I was just doing for the custom table. You can just take care for the sales error or anything like that.
So what do you want? I want when you call this, you want an output. Let's say, in this case, customer number and name. Will that be a fair requirement?
And if customer name and like posting date, anything. Just want to fill, sir. Nothing.
Okay, let's try that. Okay, customer, and then here is you see a get order. So let's have a look how Microsoft have written that. Okay, so when you do a get order, what you see is there is an action. Oh, sorry, there's a function to get order, and then it checks by the system ID and then returns you that order, right? So what I can do is here, instead of this, I can do if customer dot get. There is a new get, if you don't know, which is get by system ID. So as I said, it's a unique key on your SQL table. So you can then just say that it's a whatever the record that I am on correct page, just get that record into this variable, and then whatever you want to do, right? So if it is get, then if you look at it, Microsoft is setting up two responses, which is set action response this, and then otherwise set action response this. So let's quickly have a look what the set action response look like, which is this. So let's set it up here. Now here what it is doing, it is trying to give you a API page as an output of it, right? So if you would like to kind of use a API page to give it to back as a response, maybe that's your call, Samuel, that you can just add that page here saying, okay, I would like, if you look at it here, extend context is the same, nothing changes there. Then this is getting the sales invoice header. In this case, it is getting the sales header, which is the record document ID. And then the page, the associated page that you would like user as an output, which it becomes the object ID. And then this is the result code, which is same updated or deleted here, right? Now what happens here, it sets that context and it responds you with that API page. Okay, so let's try in the response sending back the standard customer API, right? So let's see what the standard customer API look like. And guys, if you are confused, let me know. I'll be happy to kind of talk about it. Okay, where is the customer one? Here, right? So I can say that whenever somebody clicks on this button from an API perspective, Samuel, what they get in return is this page, Now when this page will be returned, it will be returned as a JSON, which is all these field kind of going back into it, right? And I'll limit it to only show the customer that I have selected. So hopefully what I can do here is I can say, okay, return the page, which is this, and remove this, and then this becomes my customer dot system ID, and then I'm sending this page, and then let me see what this is. What are these options available? So it says created. If in response to this action, let's say you are posting something, so it sends you created. If let's say when this order gets posted, then the sales order is deleted, so then you can say delete. You can say get none updated, right? So let's say get. So what this will do is this will set the response there, and then I need to set it to the correct field, which is my system ID. I should not have, but let me see why this is. What is my second parameter? Document ID. Action contact add entity, which is field ID, and field value, which is document ID. Let me see this, because what is the standard API uses? ID or system ID? They use ID. But this is rec dot field number, add entity title field ID. Okay. Let me add system ID and we'll test it out. Okay. So what I'm telling it that it need to set the context of a page with the object ID, which is the API v2, which is the standard Microsoft API endpoint, and then based on this field number, which is the primary key of that particular record, the dummy primary key, and then show the result. Hopefully this is the way Microsoft want to show it. So let's say we call it as get customer details, and this will open this. Now as you can see that there is an error. Now the reason of the error is because this app does not know about this API. Now what we do in that case is we go ahead and set up a dependency for this. Okay, let's get the dependency from here. So because it's hard to get from the environment, because it's a symbol only app, so it's hard to kind of find out that details. But what I can do is I can copy the ID, the name, the publisher, and the version. These are the 4 things that I need to set up a dependency. So I can just copy this and say, okay, come here and set this up. Okay, I hate to be very specific for the version, so I'll say 0. What is my?
We can see the base version, base application version.
Yeah, but I tend to not to go to any specific version, because then I'm saying that it only works for 26, right? So this is the minimum version, and I've said it empty number of times. I hate to repeat it. But the whole idea of these property here is the minimum version of that app on which your app will work. So let's take an example. I'm building this app currently, compiling against version 26, right? But I know whatever I'm building will also work on Business Central 14, because there is an API available, API v2, not on 14, but let's say on 16 or 17, wherever that was launched. Because I know this API exists and my custom code will work there. So instead of taking a dependency on version 26, I can say my app is dependent on API wherever it is not less than this version. So if customer should not do it, but if a customer did not upgrade, as in partner did not upgrade their API app when they were upgraded and still pointing to version 18, if you don't change it to that version or higher version to that, then it will not work. You will not even be able to publish this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right. I
It,
was not aware of that.
yeah, I can show it to you in a demo because it's very confusing to so many developers around the world, but super simple. That there are two things that defines where your app will be deployed. One is your app, three things, sorry, application version, which tells you the version on which you would like to start this app from. So let's say if I say 14, then this app will install in any environment which is 14 or more. Then the runtime. Now runtime is directly related to your business central build. So right now it's set to 14, which means this app have a minimum requirement to be deployed on an environment which is on business central 2024 release wave 2 or higher. It cannot go 13.0. Okay. And the third thing is what your dependencies version are. So based on these three factors, it is defined will your app get deployed on an environment or not. Okay. If you
Okay.
want a detailed discussion someday, just let me know. I'll be happy to kind of do that in some other meeting. Okay, so as we deploy the dependency, it understands that there's an API v2 customers, and hopefully when we try to call this function or bounded action more or less from our custom endpoint, it'll be able to give in response an API page rather than giving a plain text. Samuel, hopefully that's what you want.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So let's see that. We might have some problems, but we'll figure that out, I guess. Okay. So, and I'll need some help because I always forget about the URL building. So, I just added permission in case if that causes a problem in deploying my app, which just added my page into it. So we have everything in place. We have the page in place. We have defined it the bounded action as requested by Samuel. So what we can do is we can do a build. Obviously, that will build our app, and we will have this app here. So let me go to the path wherever it is, and then publish it on our environment. Okay. So let's go into our cloud environment. Let's go into our favorite page, which is extension management. That's where we live. Come on. Why you are so slow? Okay. Here it is. Getting in this and deploy. Now once this gets deployed, and we'll be able to kind of try to use it on our app. But in the meantime, let's do this. Let's try to figure out, because I always forget, how you generate the custom API endpoint. Does anybody remember that? The properties that we have set are all part of it, more or less. So let me see if I find that somewhere. Okay. While this is being published, Sahib, your Docker thing is over. You are able to
Yes,
figure that
sir.
out?
I Yes, I figured that out.
Yeah, because
And I've done
a few weeks ago we were waiting for you. We're like, oh, where is Sahib? We'll talk about it.
okay.
Then,
Actually, I on the leave and at village.
oh,
So, yeah.
okay. So I just did a simple Google search, and here is how you develop a custom API from Microsoft. And hopefully this have somewhere an API detail, endpoint detail. Okay. So here, as I was saying you, that these all affect your endpoint. So here it is. Okay, so your custom API endpoint becomes this, the version of your API, API publisher, API group, API version, company, and then the API entity set name. So it becomes very important that you don't change these properties, because otherwise your API, what do you call that, URL will change if you change any of these. So just to keep it here and simple for us, what we'll do is I'll paste that here and we'll build our API endpoint. Okay. Okay, so the first thing first is API publisher. You need to pick that API publisher, use that in your publisher name. Come on. Okay. Then your API group. Your API group is, our API group is customers. Your API version, now this is your version, so you tend to give it to v2.0. And then companies, where I'll have to pass my company ID, which we'll do. And then last is your entity set name. My entity set name is Edhate customers. So Edhate customers. So HTTP Business Central user domain. I don't like this user domain. Here you need to provide your tenant ID, unless. So you provide your tenant ID and then you give it other details. Okay, and then the company ID. There are two things that we needed additionally. So while this is happening, let's have a look. Is it published? If it is published, we'll move forward. Yes, it's done. So now we have that API endpoint available. Let's go back to Postman and let's try fetching this. What you do is you come here. Sorry guys, this is so slow today for whatever reasons. And let's create a new request. And let's see. Customers. Okay. So first I would like to get the customer. Okay. So let's copy this as it is. And then I'll replace whatever my parameters are. Okay. There it is. First is my environment name. I guess that should work. So let me just copy that name. If that doesn't work, then that's a problem, but I'll have a look. Come on. Okay. And then my company ID should be here. Company ID, did I put it here? No, I did not. Okay. So let's go into my company's page. At the same time, while it is navigating, let's go here. Okay, so here is my ID. Now you see this at 8,000. This is a legacy thing that was in Business Central 14. Microsoft is planning to eliminate it, I guess, hopefully sooner than later. So once this kind of goes away, the version 1, I guess the API version 1 still uses ID, and they will be there till the point Microsoft supports version 1. Now once you have set your URL, you surely will have to set your authorization. Now I have set it on parent, so that's okay. I don't have to set it again, and I can do a send. Now if everything goes well, it should show me all my customers. No environment. Okay, where I'm missing. Oh, is it 2.0? I don't know. Okay, let me see that. Come on. Okay, So now if you see, we are getting the 4 details that we needed. As in 4 details that we asked for, and then this is the OData E tag, which is used to identify when it was last modified. People use it with OData and all. But till here, is everybody with me at this point? Guys, say yes or no.
Sorry, I would like to ask, that is OData E tag. It is the system ID?
No, so OData E tag was used earlier, so it only gets updated when a record is modified and things like that. It's a point in time identifier. So people who use OData rather than using in the legacy systems and all, they use OData E tag
Yes.
to identify is that record modified or not.
Thank you.
Your system ID is this, right? So now if I want to look at one particular customer, then I need to specify that customer ID, because that's my OData key field, if you remember, on the development. So when I do that, I'll only see detail about that one particular customer, which is this. Okay. Samuel will need your help because it's been a while. I don't deal with. Now what I do a slash and then I call that function. Is that correct? The bounded action.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So now what you do is you pick that name. If you know this, great. Otherwise, you can surely see the metadata of that endpoint in Postman or anywhere where you're using it. It'll able to show you all these different functions that you create here. So once you define that and say, okay, I'm good with it. Now it need to give you a response. Let's say it's creating a journal. You have a code which is creating a journal. Once the journal is created, you would like to show users that the journal is created in response. So then what you do is you create an API for that journal page, and then output of that API you can display in response. Now this is your response section. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this. Come on. So when I send that, that function gets called and it says no record was found against this particular, no HTTP resources were found that matches the request. Okay, get customer details.
Actually,
Go ahead. Somebody was saying something? Please.
no, it's okay.
Is it the right way of calling bounded action? I can be wrong, guys. Believe me. Okay, let me. Okay, if my mouse, the earth. Samuel have used this. Samuel, is this the right way of doing this?
So I need to put one more thing, that is Microsoft dot, and after that, calling our action button.
Oh yeah, Microsoft.nav, right? They still use it. Oh yeah. Like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Remember. I never remember this, but okay. Okay, so now I need to call this, but still get an error saying, okay, Microsoft.nav.get customer detail, no HTTP resource was found that matches the URI. Okay, let me search. Google is our friend.
Microsoft SOFT.
Sorry?
Yeah, Microsoft SOFT is there or not? SOFT.
I can't even
Yeah,
spell
Microsoft spell
Microsoft.
it.
That's
Sorry. See, thank you. I can't spell Microsoft now. Great. Okay, let's see. Get request on bound actions are not allowed. Get request on bound actions are
Only,
not allowed. Is this get?
So I think actually,
Go ahead.
only
yes,
post
it
method
is.
are not action, I guess, sir.
Sorry, Sahib, you are saying something, and then I'll go to this next person.
I was saying only post method is allowed in bound action, I guess.
Only postman?
Only post method is allowed in bound action.
Oh, only post method is allowed in the bound action. No, I guess it's not doing that. It's referring to this. Okay. Let me see none. Let me try none. Okay, I would like to unpublish that as a PTE, and for saving time, I'll publish it directly from here so that we don't have to kind of deal with it every time. I'll generate an app and then publish it. That becomes time consuming. I haven't used it as of recently for a while. Okay, let me come on unpublish this. There's no data associated with it. Don't worry. Come on. Okay. Let me directly publish it from here to keep it simple so that we can try it if something again breaks. Okay, it seems it's published. It's launching the client, so that means it's published. Let's wait for this to load. Okay, so we are good there. It got published. Come on. Okay, let's go Postman. Let's try that. Method not allowed. Which method it is referring to? Oh, so
Or does this mean whenever we post any record, then we will get that response?
yeah, because Govind, you are correct, and Samuel, you are also correct. I guess so. What happens is when you do a post, then you are creating a record, right? And that's where you want a response. Okay, so let's try doing a post, which also, oh, sorry, let's first do a get just to copy and paste things easily. So let me just cut this for a while, do a get. But I find what? Now what? Okay, now I found one. Now what I can do is I can do this back to normal, and then I can come here and copy this so that I can change this to post. Okay, that makes sense what you guys are saying. And then in the body I can convert it to raw, which is JSON by default, and then I don't need to specify these two for sure, not even two, three. System ID is this auto generated field, so I can set it to, hopefully my number series are allowing me to do changes. So let me do 9900 and let's change it to, okay, and then change it to, okay. Okay, is the format correct now? I'm pretty sure
Yes.
I'll have to remove the queued from it because I'm not doing a get, so I don't know what the ID will be, right guys?
Yes.
So I'm trying to post or create a new customer more or less, and then saying in the response I would like to get customer details. Okay, what it says, that cannot be bound to it, otherwise all intermediate segment refers to a single record. The request URL.
I think we don't.
Mhm.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think we don't need S while we are posting in the customers. Uh,
Is it? Okay.
the endpoint, yes.
The URI segment of customer details, get customer detail is invalid after the segment edit customers. First, let's see is the customer created. Let's start from there because that's important to check because customer will normally get created. Okay, let me refresh that. Shortcuts are weird. Okay. I don't think that there will be a. But why it did not allow me to do that? No, it did not create that. So first, let's try just posting it. We'll try to post it again if needed.
think maybe underscore will work.
Sorry.
Customer underscore function name.
Let's search for it. If it works just with this, okay. Let's try this. Okay. Okay, so the customer got created with the customers. Okay, and then if I go back and refresh this, I should be able to. Here, Control D is my shortcut for doing what? Always dimensions, I guess. Okay. So now I should see that 9999 whatever 99,000 or 9900 customer in here. But when you guys are saying that it does not wanted action does not work with the get, I guess we'll have to search that. We'll have to see that because when you do a sales order posting, how you do it? You create and post? No, you first create it, right? Then find it and then post it. Isn't that a true statement, guys? So now if you have to call the standard Microsoft sales order post, right? How you do that? Samuel, I guess you are recently working on it. So you might be of great help what you're doing with that.
Yes.
Might be
So,
you can
um,
customer underscore get customer details
Okay, here it is.
for code.
Here it is, okay. So here is a page where they have defined a action to copy. Okay. Now what they are doing is they are registering it, which is nice, and then they are calling a post, as you guys are saying, but they are doing it on a specific customer or ID, right? And then they are calling the copy function. They are just saying nav.copy. So I might have to try that. And then just the ID of that particular record that is in question. So if I take the ID of this, let's take this, plug it in here, and then just it calls what? Nav, yeah, nav dot, and then I keep it post. I don't have a body for this case. Okay, and then come here. Oh man, it's so slow, guys. Sorry for that. And people who are watching it on YouTube, that's the reason I don't record, because for some reason that software takes a lot of memory. Okay, this is what based on that article which we just saw. I have it post, but I don't have post. It's a existing record that I'm trying to access. So when I do that, what I see is that there's no such detail called customer details. It's a little bit off because I have the OData v4 as in base URL OData v4 sales invoice nav.copy. Okay. Here what they are doing, let's have a look onto this. They are saying context of page and page id is this sales invoice copy, and then rec dot field number id is equals to sales order dot id, and then set result code as created. So it says created here, what we are saying. Let me see that. We are saying result code as none. Should I change that? Let's see that. Created, let's try that. I don't know much, but let's see. Control F5. Hopefully this gets into my right environment. Okay, so it's coming here. I surely will have to read on these different context types to get more insights into it, because there are 4 of them. And web service result code tells you about what action you are performing. Okay, let's try to send this again. No. Okay, let me just try keeping it simple for a while. Okay, let me not do anything. Okay, crazy more or less, and let's say what you were saying here, Samuel. Was it that a message? What were you doing at this point?
So just pass the customer number for
Sorry.
just pass the customer
Existing.
number or customer.
Exit.
Just, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like this.
Yes, sir.
So it will give me a why this exit statement is erroring out. Does not have a return value. Okay, so it does not have a return value, guys. Okay, message. I don't know. I'm just trying things out
I
with
think
you.
we can add that as a set result code.
Set result code, but set result code is it's a web service action code, so you can't just add text into it. It's an option value more or less, or an enum. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm also learning with you guys, so that's not a problem. I'm neither an expert on this. Okay, and let's have a look what happens now if I just do a message. Hopefully this is published. Let's not waste time and do that. Why it is saying no HTTP resource was found that matches this? This should match. Should I still use Microsoft?
Sir,
Go ahead.
actually we are changing the code, so I think we need to update the package again.
Which package?
The application
So
extension.
extension is getting published. I'm just doing in Control F5. It's a
Yeah.
PD.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's a dev right now, so that's not a problem.
So for now it's a PD.
Yeah. Okay, something came.
So I just read them.
It says no content,
Yeah.
but it succeeded for whatever reasons. Okay. Now a message, and what else we can do? Are there anything else into this that I can pass to it back? No, there's literally nothing. And then
You
exit.
can
Go ahead.
exit like after vacate. You can just return the value.
But
Anything
there's nothing returning on it, right? So that's the thing, as in,
as a text. Anything.
let's try text. You want that? Hopefully that doesn't break the sequence or pattern. But let me try doing an exit with this. Okay. Okay, now this got published. Let's switch back to Postman. Let's see what happens with the exit statement. Come on. No, it rejected that. It says no HTTP request
Hello,
found that.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I guess no need to mention the page name. I guess in
Oh,
the API.
page name.
Yeah.
Where is the page name?
In Postman, sir. I guess you have mentioned the page name, right?
No, I did not.
The API page. Edhate customer.
Yeah, this is the entity name, entity page name.
Okay, all right, sir.
Yeah, so this is this name, and it's working. As in, until unless we didn't become a little bit crazy here and said text, which is not working. So hopefully we will not be able to change this. We need to kind of remember that you're not allowed to change this. And when we had this as message or an error, it did not show up there, right? We didn't try message, right? We only tried error, or we tried message. We tried message. So the right way is to sending it back an API, I guess. That's the whole idea. And maybe I need to find a better API to say, okay, give me this, rather than giving me the same customer page. But then I guess it's getting stuck on what kind of thing I'm doing here. Is it a created or not? I guess it's all boils down to what you're selecting here on web service action result code. This defines what you want to do out of it. Like when you think about the sales order or the sales invoice, sales order ship and invoice, what it does is that it says, oh, the sales order has been posted and here is a resulting invoice for it. So it gives you that invoice GUID or invoice API response as a result. Okay, so we have done it as an error right now. Let me try clicking on the send if I can. Okay, so now there was a dialogue. Okay, so there's something that's happening, and because there was a dialogue, it says there is a dialogue exception which I cannot process, and it's an error. So it is working. It is coming here and giving you that error message. So I guess we need to go back and look at what kind of things that I can set here, right? So if I just remove it, so that means everything from an URL perspective is correct. What we are sending it a customer, we are saying it as a customer.system ID and then use it, and web service action result code as created. I guess this is the only thing that I need to change. So if I can change it to the correct thing, I guess that should work. What is the first one? The first one is deleted. Okay. Okay, let's do deleted. Let's check on every possible web service action result code what the output look like. I'll learn something new for sure today with you guys, which is nice. Okay, so we have set it to deleted. Remember, this was working, so hopefully we should see something here out of it. Let's see. Come on. So when we see as deleted, it says no content, which means because it's the record is deleted, typically that's what I guess it means. So if it is deleted, then it's deleted, right? And let's try to changing this to the second option, which is oh, created was the first option, sorry. Let's say created. Okay, are you guys optimistic about created like me? Then okay, deleted means no response, but created means that there should be a response based on whatever has been created. Okay, published. Let's go back to Postman. No content. Now this is weird. There should be a content out of it. And it should show that page. You are seeing no content. The command is correct, remember that. I guess we are just switching these parameters and nothing much is changing, which is weird. Okay, if it doesn't work, I have one more idea, but let's have a look into it. Created, deleted, we tried. Get, we haven't tried yet. Let's first try updated. I'm more optimistic about the updated. Okay, let's do this. Control F5. Okay, let's try sending this again. Go there, show me something. Make us happy. No content. That's so odd.
Actually we are using the post method, so where we are setting the body.
You don't, yeah, so we are using the post method because we have to call this function. You can't call this function with the get method, as Samuel said earlier, right? So it's a mandate for this to be called only with the post action. Even if you read that Microsoft documentation that we were searching around right here, it very clearly says that when you're using this, and if you look at it here, he's not doing anything on it. He have to call the post to kind of use it. So it's a post mandate method if you are calling a endpoint, right? So typically think about it that you access a sales order and then you want to post it. So you're not posting the sales order. Sorry, you're not adding a new sales order, but you're posting the sales order. And now the words are same, but you are, yeah, you are committing that transaction more or less. So update did not work, and I'll not be surprised if nothing works out of it. But I'm just using get for the last time. If it doesn't work, we will have to kind of see why it is not working. And if I remember it correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you post a sales order from an API using these bounded action, I don't think you get a response. Do you see a posted invoice when you do a post of sales order from API? I'm saying. I don't think that's happening as of today. Samuel, interested still to understand how you are able to get that text thing that you're showing, that you sent me earlier.
Sir, I'm just doing it in normally, like returning the value in text format.
But where you're using it. So now this is, let's say, your bounded action. I want to return the customer number.
I'm not using this set action response like that. I'm just doing code everything in on like get customer details and just respond giving response in text format.
So you are passing an output parameter here.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now that's interesting. But this is the method that Microsoft have very clearly listed, but to my surprise, it never worked. I was just curious
I have
now.
also searched about it. I have read many blogs. They were saying like that from the client side, they must have to parse the JSON structure. Like I was showing you some problem, plain text. From the client perspective, they need to parse the JSON object.
Okay. Okay, but no, I understand what you're saying, and I think that will be possible if I just not use a action action context more or less, right? And then respond it as
Mhm.
JSON, right? I might have to write a little bit
Yes,
of
sir.
code to kind of convert that object into a JSON, but
And sir, also I'm not using any like table. I'm just using integer,
oh,
and everything I'm doing it in action, just responding from the bound action response.
okay, and yeah, let's talk about it at the end of the meeting because I have something that I would like to ask you, but not in the recording for that matter.
Sure, sir. Okay, sir.
Uh,
Sure.
Okay, now I'm a little bit confused around this action context thing. Is there anything else on the action context? If it doesn't work, I'm surely going back and doing some more digging into it, what this action context is and why it is not responding the way I think it should be. Okay, so there is, oh, forget about set. Okay, let's see. There is add entity key, which is done. Get object ID, which I don't think I need a get object ID. Get object type, get result code. Set object ID, which you're doing. Set object code, set result code. And then that's it. Why this action context is not responding? Okay. I'll see that, Simon, and if not, no one else have question, even if somebody has a question, we'll surely talk about it next week if I find something out of this. Okay. Now,
Sure, sir.
any
Sure.
questions on this one, or anybody has any clue for me that I can use, and then I'll pause the recording, and then I have some questions for Samuel, which we can talk about without recording.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, so I'll pause the recording. Just give me a moment. I'll just do a pause. Okay. So send it my way, and then I'm going to spend some time on extend context. If we find something, what we'll do in the next week, we'll see what I've found out. Even if I found nothing, we'll still spend some time on the extend context and understand what's happening over there, right? So this page is going to stay with me for a longer time. I'm going to do some research on it and figure that out. But let's figure that out
Sure.
hopefully by next week, and then
Yeah.
if you can, what we have talked without recording, if you can do that, I'll be happy to kind of move forward with that piece also. Okay guys, anything else, anyone?
I think that's all for today.
That's all. Okay,
Yes.
then what I'll do is I'll do that, and then next week if we found something, great. If we don't find something, we'll surely let you guys know that this is where we are stuck and this is where it is not moving. And if you're watching on YouTube and you know that whatever we have done is completely wrong, let me know into the comments. We all are waiting for that answer. Okay, then I'll see
Okay.
you next week, next Saturday, and hopefully we'll have something good by next Saturday.
And,
Okay, guys.
and good luck
Thanks.
for the
All right.
Sunday.
Thanks. Have a nice day. Enjoy your weekend, and good night.
Good night. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, sir. Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Hopefully this makes sense. And if you have any additional questions or suggestions or what we talked offline, join the community and we'll be happy to kind of talk about it. Now, if I did something completely wrong, let me know into the comments, which I always do once in a while. If you know how to solve this problem, which some community members have, again, let us know into the comments and I'll pass that message to the community member saying this is how you solve it. Okay. You know the drill at this moment. If you think it was useful, like it, make sure you share it on your social media so that others get access to it. And if you haven't, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and have a nice day.